On LinkedIn, all roads lead, sooner or later, to your profile. It is absolutely the hub of your LinkedIn presence, and it's worth paying attention and putting some effort into getting it right. Paying attention matters here in a way that may not be immediately obvious. LinkedIn is perfectly willing to fill in parts of your profile for you. It does this by using a few default settings. However, those defaults may not give you the results you want. Don't let LinkedIn set up your profile for you. It all starts when you first sign up for an account. All that's needed is a name, an email address, and a password that you create. Use your real name in whatever version you use or want to use professionally. We're not looking to remain anonymous here, and we're not looking to project anything but the most career-ready identity. If your name is Alexander Hamilton, don't avoid the full 4-syllable version just because your friends and loved ones never call you Alexander. Be especially careful to follow this advice if your friends know you as A-Dog or Hot Pants in your everyday life. LinkedIn also wants to know your zip code, largely so it can suggest connections to people in your general area, a topic we'll consider in another installment. Again, you want to be known. You're not creating some kind of burner account, one of those anonymous identities that lets you post outrageous comments without revealing your secret identity. On LinkedIn, revealing your identity is the whole point, and that's why you want to control the identity you do reveal. You want it to speak as eloquently as it can on your behalf. Next, the site wants you to pick a status, and your choices are limited to employed, job seeker, and student. A limitation that, if you had any doubt, is further evidence of the fact that LinkedIn restricts its focus to the purely professional world. You can't create a whole new status. To LinkedIn, you can only be one of 3 things: working, looking for work, or learning. You'll get the chance to tell the world that you're the world's biggest fan of the Cleveland Browns later in the process, if you insist. At this point, we get to something that, along with your name, will go directly to your profile: your job title. In your profile, LinkedIn will take that job title and add it immediately below your name, where it becomes what's called your LinkedIn headline. That job title alone, however, may not be the best use of some prime real estate on your profile page. Don't despair, though, because there's good news, and it comes in the form of an Edit Profile button that will always be there for you. You can change any part of your profile, including the headline, now and at any point in the future. For now, consider a headline that goes beyond the basics. In particular, work towards something that makes people want to know more, so that they'll look more closely at the rest of your profile, or towards something that answers the question, so what? There's more to say about headlines, especially about the use of keywords. For now, consider the difference between 2 possibilities. SEO Manager, Jones & Jones Incorporated. White hat SEO specialist with a unique and proven approach yielding 3-month traffic increases of 30% or more. You only have 120 characters to work with, but you can do a lot with a few well-chosen words. Remember, you can always use your job title as a placeholder for now. You don't have to come up with the perfect headline immediately. You can simply move along and follow the rest of LinkedIn's built-in steps. LinkedIn will walk you through your employment history, one job at a time, and your educational background. All you have to do is follow the prompts that appear above your name, and you'll see, as you save each piece of information, that it's all added in chronological order to the background section of your profile. When you've answered all those questions, it's time to move beyond words and add a photo that you'll upload from your computer. LinkedIn won't force you to add a photo. There's a default here too, a grayish silhouette. But a personal photo is not something you should skip. Your picture turns out to be surprisingly important, and to be honest, highly influential. People pay attention. That being the case, your choice of photo really matters. It should be professional. It should project the qualities you want people to see in you. How this happens is a matter of both art and science, and there are all kinds of strategies you can use. For this short video, it's enough to say that you should take some care with your choice. If you have doubts about your selection, go for a formal, career-oriented photo. And as the saying goes, one in which you're dressed for the job you want. Now that you have your background fleshed out, you'll get the chance to list your skills and expertise. Even if you have a host of skills and a wealth of expertise, however, don't overload this part of the profile. Stick to the skills that really matter, the ones you want to showcase. Think of the skills that you'd be looking for if you were hiring someone who does what you'd like to do. Hit those skills hard. It's much more effective to have the right skills in a short list than a scrolling epic that spells out every skill under the sun. Think in terms of keywords and search terms, because that's what much of this content is all about. Finally, you get to add a summary. There are no questions to answer or steps to follow. It's a blank space that lets you add just about anything you want. As usual, just because you can add anything you want does not mean that you should. But here you can stretch a little. Tell your story in a professional way and summarize your interests and accomplishments. You don't have to stop at what you've done. This is a good place to write briefly about your goals and aspirations. That briefly is important. Don't burden the reader with a wall of text. Instead, make your summary organized and easy to read. When you're almost done, LinkedIn will step in and try to be helpful. As you'll see, it's been looking over your shoulder as you put all this together, and it may have found some gaps in your profile. It will offer suggestions, and they're often helpful. You may benefit from a reminder that there's content you hadn't thought to add. Perhaps there's a big project that should make an appearance, an award that's worth memorializing, or some volunteer activity that deserves a nod. If you want to add anything from those suggestions, LinkedIn will walk you through each category with some very simple questions, just as it did when you covered employment and education. One last thing, your LinkedIn profile is not set in stone. If you get a new job, you've been involved in a major project, or you've accomplished something of note recently, update your profile. If nothing else, a profile that's current says that your career involvement is also current, that you're engaged and interested in your working life, and that you're not just coasting along on automatic pilot. When your profile hasn't been touched in years, those qualities are not so evident. There's a lot more to LinkedIn than your profile, of course, but without question, this is the place that starts putting LinkedIn to work.